it's really getting ridiculous. The media hype, the hype around Giannis Anteokonmpo, the Greek freak, people are actually saying he's the best player in the NBA. Not only is he not the best player in the NBA, Giannis Anteokonmpo is not a top 5 player in the NBA. We got to stop with these gormless takes. We got to stop with all these highlights, and everybody gets caught up in Twitter and ESPN. They see Giannis Anteokonmpo dunking the ball really hard. They think he's a top 5 player in the NBA. That's why he's really in the MVP race, if you ask me, because even though he's averaging 27, 12, and 6, he's shooting 24% from the three-point line, and he dunks the ball so much. It gets this enormous attention, and he's so great at dunking the basketball. Don't get me wrong. But the media has created this, because he's the highlight king. He's the new highlight king in the NBA. It used to be LeBron James for a long time. It's now Giannis Anteokonmpo. He's the highlight king, and everybody gets so caught up in all these dunks. And then when we look at the MVP race, we have to ask ourselves, is he a better two-way player than Paul George? No. Is he a better offensive player than James Harden? Is he a better player than either one of those two? No, he is not. But people are saying he's a top 5 player in the game. They're saying that he's the best player in the game. They're saying he's a top MVP candidate in the game. And I don't understand all of these narratives because MVP, let's break it down. James Harden's averaging 36, 8, and 6 right now. He's getting it done on the offensive side of the ball. He's getting it done passing the ball, making plays for others. Also, he put the team on his back basically when Chris Paul was out, Clint Capella was out, Eric Gordon was out, and they were the 14th seed. Now look at them. They were the 3rd seed, and people were talking about, well, the stats. He's padding his stats. No, he was doing what he needed to do for his team. That's being a leader. That's being a guy that said, you know what? I'm not going to complain about the situation that's going on. I'm going to put things in my own hands, and I'm going to make sure that I do what's best for the team until we get Chris Paul back, until we get Clint Capella back, until we get Eric Gordon back. James Harden's the closest player I've seen to Kobe Bryant. And it'll be a shame that James Harden gets robbed of another MVP just because Giannis Anteokonmpo can dunk the ball really hard. And people, like I said, Paul George, let's look at it. Paul George can score at all 3 levels. Paul George is a better two-way player than Giannis Anteokonmpo. Paul George is helping lead the OKC Thunder to a top 4 seed as of right now. And Paul George has been looking like the best player on the OKC Thunder's roster, even over Russell Westbrook. And you're telling me Giannis Anteokonmpo is better than Paul George. You're telling me he's better than James Harden. I'm just not buying it. And then you're telling me he's a top 5 player in the game. I'm just not buying it. Top 5 guys off my head. James Harden, LeBron James, Stephen Curry, Kevin Durant. I'll even take Kawhi Leonard. Just say those are your top 5. That's not in any order. But then I believe that Giannis Anteokonmpo is closer to the 9 to 10 range than the top 5 range. Out of those 5, don't forget about Paul George. Then if you want to throw Anthony Davis in there, then you can even throw Russell Westbrook. And then, me personally, I would take Kyrie over Giannis Anteokonmpo as well. And people are going to say Kyrie Irving's not better than Giannis Anteokonmpo. But we've seen Kyrie be effective when it matters the most. Giannis Anteokonmpo, for the 6 years that he's played in the NBA, hasn't made it out of the Eastern Conference once. And he's supposed to be a top 5 player. Everybody's been saying for the past 6 years, wait until he gets a jump shot. Well, we've been waiting. People love to compare him to LeBron James. When LeBron James came in the league, he didn't have a jump shot. But LeBron James' number 1 skill wasn't just his athleticism. LeBron James' number 1 skill probably was his playmaking ability. Giannis Anteokonmpo has no superpowers. He's like Batman. All he is good at is dunking the basketball. His athleticism is his number 1 skill. He has no offensive moves. He has no bat. He has no step back. He can't break defenders down. He has no post game. But the media gets caught up in Giannis Anteokonmpo can dunk the ball really hard. Let's give him the MVP award. Let's make him the best player in the NBA just because he can dunk the ball really hard. It's getting ridiculous, to be honest. So I don't feel that Giannis Anteokonmpo is a top 5 player in the game, and I don't think he should win the MVP award over guys like James Harden and Paul George. Now, I know he's having an excellent season. I know the Milwaukee Bucks are the number 1 seed right now, but a lot of that has to do with Coach Bud putting in a system that kind of helps Giannis Anteokonmpo create shooters around him. But is that system going to work in the playoffs? I don't think so. I don't think the Bucks are going to beat the Boston Celtics, the Toronto Raptors, or the Philadelphia Sixers. I think in the second round they want to see the Philadelphia Sixers rather than seeing the Boston Celtics or the Toronto Raptors. Because they see one of those two teams, they're not going to make it to the Eastern Conference Finals. And the reason is because we've seen what teams will do to Giannis Antetokounmpo in the playoffs. We've seen it in the past. We're going to see it in the present. We're going to see teams going to pack the lane. They're going to make Giannis Antetokounmpo a jump shooter. People are saying, well, he has shooters around him. Do you really think that Eric Bledsoe, Malcolm, and Brook Lopez, do you really think they're going to be the difference for the Milwaukee Bucks in advancing? And that's what I don't even like about that. You got to say, well, Giannis Antetokounmpo has shooters around him. If you're the man, if you're the go-to guy, if you're the MVP, you're supposed to be the difference maker. LeBron James was the difference maker in the playoffs. James Harden's been the difference maker in the playoffs. Stephen Curry, Kevin Durant, Paul George, all these guys in the playoffs are the difference makers. None of these guys were said, well, you know what, they got shooters around them. They got shooters and teammates that are going to pick up his slack. None of that has happened before, but that's going to probably happen with Giannis Antetokounmpo. That's what people are saying about Giannis Antetokounmpo because they know in the playoffs, it comes less of fast break transition, comes more of a half-court game. And teams actually play defense. And when it comes down to the tight moments, are you telling me that you'd rather have Giannis Antetokounmpo over James Harden, over LeBron James, over KD, over Stephen Curry, over Paul George, over Russell Westbrook? I don't think so. That's why I don't think Giannis Antetokounmpo is the best player in the NBA. I don't think Giannis Antetokounmpo is the MVP. And I definitely do not think Giannis, the Greek Freak, is a top 5 NBA player.